It's sold out at the Delta Center. Game 1. The defending NBA champions, Houston Rockets, going against the Utah Jazz as they get ready for introductions here locally. Let's go now to the Microsoft starting lineup. Look at some of the matchups. Jack Gibbons.
Well, understand now that James Donaldson will play just about 12 minutes in this ball game. The real challenge in stopping Hakeem Olajuwon will go to guys like Antoine Carr and Tom Chambers off the bench. Of course, the pick and roll with Stockton and Malone is going to be a real key for the Houston defense.
Coach of the defending champions, Rudy Tomjanovich, in his 4th year. He told us prior to the game tonight he has a lot of confidence in his ball club, even though they did not finish the regular season strong. And here is Jerry Sloan, that Jazz president Frank Layton says is the most underrated coach in the league. He's had 6 50-plus win seasons, and he has taken the Jazz to the Western Conference Finals 2 of the last 3 years. Their referees are Mike Mathis, Jimmy Clark, and Dan Crawford, as James Donaldson goes up against Hakeem, and they're going to jump it again. The Jazz won the regular season series 3-2, winning the last 3 in a row. Olajuwon, however, did not play in the last meeting.
He did not play that last one. He was injured with a stiff neck. That is better, but as you heard already, Lisa told us he's about 90% back right now.
Here's Jeff Hornacek, who came over a year ago in the trade from Philadelphia, settled in this year, maybe having his finest year. David Benoit against Horry. Horry tips it out. It'll be off to the Rockets.
Well, it's interesting that David Benoit gets the first call of this ball game. They gave him the ball on the low post, but he closed out the season very, very hot. His last 4 ball games, 22 points, 19, and 18. So he's on a roll.
Here's John Stockton, maybe the best passer to ever play in the NBA, the all-time assist leader. Hornacek out to James Donaldson. He's 37 years old. Came into center when Felton Spencer went down for the year. Stockton loads it up, and we have our first basket of the ball game.
You know, as you look at this Utah team, pay close attention to the toughness that they have. I think above everything else, that might be the thing that carries them through this series if they're going to win it.
Robert Horry kicks it out to Pete Chilcutt. He started 17 games in the regular season, starting because Carl Herrera, as Lisa pointed out, did not make the trip. That ball will be out of bounds. It'll be off of Houston. The Jazz will get it.
Well, the thing that Pete Chilcutt gives them is a guy that can get to the offensive boards especially. They won't go to him a lot in their regular flow of offense, but you saw him. He can knock down that 18-foot shot.
Malone into Stockton. Stockton will bring it out. Stockton at 33 years of age, and he has not slowed down at all. For the 8th straight year, he's led the NBA in assists. He'll go inside, trying to create again. 7 seconds on the shot clock. With 5, Benoit's got to do something. He'll slice to the basket. And the rebound by Benoit. Good hustle by David Benoit.
And you might already be seeing the effects of the absence.
Look at this. Horry is hurt. He has hurt himself. Horry's had back trouble all year long. We have an illegal defense warning now against Houston, but Horry looks like he hurt his foot.
Well, I don't know if he was grabbing his calf muscle or if he came down on someone's foot, and maybe his ankle is a little tender right now. But the point I was going to make, the Rockets made the trade sending Otis Thorpe to the Portland Trail Blazers for Clyde Drexler. They weren't a very good rebounding team before that trade. They've gotten a little bit worse since that trade.
They're the worst offensive rebounding team in the NBA. Only about 26% of the rebounds do they get offensively. So after the illegal defense warning, Hornacek with a 3. Rebound is cleared by Kenny Smith. This is a very fast backcourt, a very athletic backcourt with Smith and Drexler, and then they'll bring off the bench Vernon Maxwell. Drexler out of control, turns it over. Hornacek at the other end to Stockton. Stockton led all guards in field goal shooting with 54, and his second shot is there.
And that's the 3rd offensive rebound already in this ballgame.
So a very good start for the Jazz as they lead it 4-2. Kenny Smith this year has got the ball very well in the last part of the season. Here's Horry, dumps it into Hakeem. Hakeem has averaged almost 37 points a game in the series this year, and he never shoots the ball the same way twice in a game.
And I think that's the real difference in this ball game now as opposed to his first few years in the league. You could guess what he was going to do. Always the same thing. Now he mixes it up.
And it comes to the mailman, Malone. Doesn't get it. Tries to get it back. It'll go off at Houston. Houston right now losing a lot of the basketballs underneath the basket.
Well, they don't have a defensive rebound yet, I don't think. And, and the reason why is because Utah getting all the shots, the second and third shots at the basket.
Karl Malone playing as well as he's ever played this game. He's had an MVP-type year.
Yes, he has.
Said he's had more fun this year, Jack, than he's had in all of the years he's been in the league.
And you would think, you could say very easily it's because they're winning games, but the fact is they've been over 50 wins in 5 of the last 6 seasons, so they've been very successful.
One of the few times you'll see John Stockton turn it over. He has such great peripheral vision, always surveying the floor, but that time turned it over, and Jerry not expecting Stockton to do that very often.
No, he's not.
9 minutes to go, first quarter. Drexler backing in. Here's Akeem back to his former Houston Cougar teammate. And Olajuwon gets it back and hammers it home.
Well, that's a beautiful pass from Clyde Drexler. Now, that's something that they did get in the trade. Other than a guy that can score a lot of points, he's a great passer. I mean, tremendous passer.
That's what was his passing. He didn't realize how good a passer he is. There's Hornacek. He is stripped to the ball. 10 seconds on the shot clock. Out to Malone. Malone surveying things with 7 seconds. Rebound tipped up. Almost tipped up and in by Horry that time. And it comes back to Houston. Utah 2 of 9 shooting from the field. Chilcutt from outside. Rebound Benoit. Benoit this year averaged 5.2 rebounds. Here's Malone. Little off balance. He wanted a foul. He's arguing with Mike Mathis as they retreat up the floor. Drexler from the corner. Little herky-jerky right now, and now we've got a technical. It's on Malone. He kept working Mike Mathis, and he got the tee.
Well, and the thing is that Mike Mathis let him have his thing. I mean, he worked him all the way up the floor. Now, once the shot went up, Mike said, hey, I've heard enough. It's time to go on. Your team had the ball. It was going the other way. No reason to keep complaining.
Kenny Smith, a very good free throw shooter, shooting 85%, hits the technical. And the Rockets lead at 7-4. A very unhappy crowd here at the Delta Center. They don't like the way the mailman has been treated in the early going.
He feels he's been bumped 2 or 3 times, and he thought he had his legs cut out from under him. On that particular play, he's 0 for 3 from the field so far.
John Stockton setting it up at the 7:58 mark of the first quarter.
Tell you what, if he gets it down on low post this time, he's going to get a call.
And he did.
You bet on it.
Well, wait a minute. They called an offensive foul on Malone. Pushing off. Oh, he's got to be steaming now.
I knew the whistle was going to blow. I think Karl Malone understood that he might get the call. But you see the push right there. Now, he normally gets that call. Mike Mathis blew the whistle, and he's rubbing the point in a little bit deeper to Karl Malone.
Yeah, I think he got Malone's attention, don't you? Here's Akeem. Look at that spin move. He's so quick. Rebound by Malone. Malone comes out of there with some authority. Stockton this year averaged 12.3 assists. 7 times in his career. He's done over 1,000 assists in a season. 7-4, the Rockets with the early advantage.
Now here's the pick and roll. Excuse me, Gary. And this is something you're going to see about 70% of this game. Now you'll see Pete Chilcutt right here. He's trying to push Malone out just a little bit to make it more difficult for them to get him a shot in the range, coming in his range off of that pick and roll.
That was more in a little bit. He got a foul on the push, and it's a good heads-up call because the pick and roll, somehow you've got to stop Utah from doing that successfully. Stockton obliging in. He challenged Olajuwon, and Stockton has 6 points. He has all 6 of the Jazz's points.
Well, what makes that pick and roll so tough is they've seen everything so far.
The turnover, Stockton on the move. Out the Compton to the slicing Benoit. Boy, this guy has really taken his game to a new level. Benoit had some problems personally. Was hurt early in the year with a stress fracture of his ankle and has come on late in the year.
Well, he went from about a 39% shooter last year to a 49% shooter this year.
And Olajuwon with a face-up jumper, and Hakeem has 6 points. The Rockets lead it by 1. This is starting with the emotion we expected. These two clubs.
Well, you have the defending champions, and you have a team that window is slowly closing. They feel an urgency here in this series.
Benoit, the jump shot over Horry, doesn't get it. Chilcutt with the rebound. Pete Chilcutt started the year overseas. He was signed then as a free agent. Woody T said, we've tried for 2 years to get Pete Chilcutt. Now they have him in the starting lineup. Kenny Smith from outside. stripped from behind Stockton and then stolen back by Robert Horry. Horry seems to have shaken off that injury early. I say he's shaken it off. What a power move that was.
Well, now he's going to be real important in this series. In the games that they have won, I'm talking Houston, the games they have won, he has been a superstar. He has played very well. The games that they've lost, he's been mediocre. So he's going to be a key player in this series.
This Utah team, 60 wins, second best record in the NBA. They are the number 3 seed, but if they would get to the second round against the Phoenix Suns, they would have the home court advantage. In it comes, intended for Malone, broken up 12 seconds on the shot clock. We're going to take a break. 5:30 as you look at this move by Robert Horry.
Well, he's got to be aggressive. He's got to make sure he takes the ball to the basket. Another thing he's got to do is find some rebounds. 11-8 the score here early in the first period of play. I want you to take a look at this shot and see how John Stockton deals with the pick and roll. Now Donaldson is going to come up. Kenny Smith is guarding Stockton. And watch Stockton. What Smith wants to do is try to force him over the top. Instead of that happening, Stockton is going to go around the baseline, get to the basket, and this comes from a lot of years of playing against the defenses in this pick and roll that it seems the Jazz run about 70-75% of the time.
Well, Stockton is 3 of 4 shooting. The rest of the Jazz team is only 1 of 9. 11-8, the Rockets are the lead as we come back. 5:23 to go in the first quarter. Deflected. Horry comes up with it. Both teams turning the ball over, and a lot of that, Jack, motion in game 1.
Yeah, I think you're right. You mentioned the rest of the teams for the Utah Jazz 1 for 9. Give the Houston defense a lot of credit. They're playing out of the double team. The weak side defense has been there to challenge guys on spotting up.
After the Horry miss, Utah setting it up again. Waugh dumps it in now to Malone. The double team comes. And we're going to have traveling on Jeff Hornacek. Dan Crawford, the guy that called that. And here's John Crotty coming into the ball game. A guy is always ready to play, getting more and more minutes. In fact, this year, he had almost as many minutes as he did in his 2 previous seasons in the league.
Yeah, because of the extended minutes, he's had career numbers in virtually every statistical category.
Utah's turned the ball over 5 times in 7 minutes as Hakeem showing his out-court shooting ability.
Well, I think what's going to happen now that he's stepping out, getting the shots from the outside, Jerry Sloan's going to have to go to the bench and come with a quicker, smaller player that can play him out on the floor.
Last year's MVP in the NBA is 4 of 5 now from the field. Inside to Malone, and he doesn't get it, and Carl is really having a frustrating start to this game.
Yeah, when he gets upset now, he's not as effective. He lets it affect him too much.
Well, he's 0 for 4 from the field. Olajuwon trying to put it back. He got it, and the foul on Benoit. That's a very good point about Karl Malone. Some guys, when they get a little bit of an anger in them, they can play well. Malone is not one of those guys.
Well, he's not, and he got things started badly in this game because of the early technical fouls. And here he has taken the ball to the basket. In other games, he's going to get that call, but since he did get the call, since he did get the technical foul, and he has been on the official's case so far in this game, he's not getting the call.
Antoine Carr is now checked into the ball game for Donaldson as Hakeem tries to make a 3-point play. Houston now scores 8 straight points to take a 15-8 lead. So Carr has been a welcome addition to this team. Number 55 is checked in. Here's Malone. Finally gets his shot to go after missing his first 4.
Well, you know what he did that time? He took what the defense gave him. Instead of trying to create a foul, getting to the foul line. Turned around, took a jump shot.
5-point lead now for the Rockets. Deflected by Crotty. Back out to Kenny Smith. 12 seconds on the shot clock. Into our team, a double team. Drexler's been very quiet. Horry with a 3. Not there. Horry in the 2 games that Houston won this year was 6 of 8 from 3-point land. So he could stretch your defense if he could start hitting outside.
Well, and then when Vernon Maxwell comes into the game, you have another player that forces the defense to go outside.
Hakeem reached around Antoine Carr, deflected it. Out it comes to Houston. Olajuwon is 9th in the league in steal. You would expect that from a center.
Right.
12 seconds on the shot clock. Into Hakeem, and he is fouled, and he is now going to work. How many times have you watched this guy just wear you out inside?
Well, the fun thing is, as I watch Olajuwon catch the ball in the low post, you're looking to try to find out where the double team is going to come from. And because he is so unpredictable now on the offensive end of the floor down in the low post, it's hard to send the guard every time. It's hard to come with the power forward because you never know where he's going to go.
Carr committed the foul is first. Sam Cassell getting ready to come into the ball game, and also Chucky Brown, as Chilcott will check out, as will Kenny Smith. Sam Cassell, you might recall, was so good in the NBA Finals against the Knicks. He did sprain an ankle, however, this week in their camp in Galveston, Texas.
Yes, and another surprising find for the Houston Rockets. Chucky Brown was playing in the CBA before they called him here. He never thought he was going to get as many minutes, but because of all the injuries, he's had to step up and play big time.
He was with the Yakima Sun Kings. What a career jump for him, as Jimmy Clark has spotted a foul away from the ball. We're going to take a break with 2:55 left to go in this first quarter. Houston on the road, off effectively as they lead it by 6. Well, the playoffs are underway. Houston here with the early advantage of 6, and they continue on game 1. Check this with us on TBS, Chicago and Charlotte. And then on TNT, Boston and Orlando. That's at 8 o'clock. Followed by Denver and San Antonio. The Nuggets, a very dangerous team at 9:30 on TBS. Portland and Phoenix. Phoenix defeated Portland 5-0 in the regular season. That's at 10:30. And also NBC coverage will get underway Saturday, beginning with the Cleveland, New York, and then the Lakers Sonics game. Later tonight, by the way, on Turner Sports, we have the Lakers in Seattle in game number 1. Well, the Jazz are only shooting 33%.
Yeah, they're 5 of 15. They have 10 points. Hakeem Olajuwon by himself has 11.
And add 6 turnovers, and that's not a very good mix if you're Utah. 2:47 left now in this first quarter of play. Crotty having problems. The ball was kicked. They'll reset the shot clock.
Oh, you think about that Seattle-Los Angeles Lakers series. Well, just think if the Sonics come out and lose the first game of this one, well, they are going to be under tremendous pressure.
Well, they lose 1 of 2 at home. You wonder about their psyche. There's Malone now, seeming a little more under control now. Going outside and hitting the basket. He has 4.
Well, as I watched him during the timeout, I saw Jerry Sloan come over and talk to him and just kind of tell him to go on and play your game. You're going to get it going, and he seems to be feeling more comfortable on the floor.
Horry trying to get into Hakeem, and I tell you, Antoine Carr really banging bodies with Olajuwon. There's an illegal defense. And that will be the first warning. I tell you, Antoine Carr is a big body that Utah did not have last year in this series. He really can help them.
Yeah, I think you're right about that. And he is very good, even though he gives up inches every night in that center position. He's very good at guarding the big guys on the low post.
You can't guard that, though.
Nothing you can do. I mean, I guess if you're going to give him any shot, you want him shooting the 18-foot shot falling away from the basket. But he's only 6 for 7 here tonight.
Yeah, 6 for 7. He shot 52% this year from the field. That was 21st in the NBA. He was top 10 in 4 categories this year. Here's Antoine. How about a little creativity there by the big dog?
53% he's shooting on the season. He's made a lot of shots like that one around the basket, using his quickness against the bigger center.
Coming over from the Spurs is a free agent, Olajuwon, drawing the foul. Let's go back to this little left-handed shot by Antoine Carr.
Well, the other important thing about giving Carr the basketball on the low post is you have a chance of getting Olajuwon in foul trouble. So he's going to touch it a lot while he's on the floor.
Carr did commit the foul at the other end. His second. Olajuwon at the line, a 76% free throw shooter.
Now the next center that comes on the floor will be Tom Chambers. The real problem here now is Chambers is 6'10", 6'11", he's 225. So you're giving up a guy 260, going down to 255. He will not match up well against Olajuwon.
I'm going to tell you, Olajuwon is headed for a monster game. He has 15 points already in this first quarter. 15 of Houston's 20.
He's had 49. He's also had 41. He's had 39 also in 2 of the 4 games he's played against.
Average almost 37. And here's Malone rejected by Olajuwon. 7 seconds on the shot clock. Hornacek hurried it. It's loose. Malone with 3, 2, and Chambers. Hornacek was so upset, he just gave up on the play and started back at the other end. He thought he was fouled.
Well, he took the shot, and the thing that the Jazz have to protect against here is not allowing the officials to take them out of this ballgame.
Drexler with a move inside, not able to get it in. He is 0 for 3. Here's Malone. The Jazz have climbed within 2.
Well, you think of Utah as a half-court team. Here in this game tonight, they've looked better when they've been able to run the ball.
There's Olajuwon with 15 points. There's Hornacek with a blindside steal. Almost traveled with a 3-on-1. Benoit. He was in between on that shot, and then Chucky Brown fouled Karl Malone. Benoit wanted to tomahawk it in and did neither.
Now, the double team that time came from the baseline. So finally, the Utah Jazz guessed right on sending the double team against Olajuwon. And you will see here as Benoit misses the shot. Funny, Karl Malone pushes Benoit out of the way so he has a chance for the offensive rebound. He knows what to do with it once he gets it there.
Chucky Brown committing the foul, his first. Malone at the line. Malone this year, 74% free throw shooter. He's still trying to settle in. Akeem getting a quick breather as we have 35 seconds left, and there he goes to the oxygen. He's had anemia, had an iron deficiency in his blood system. He's missed games and also had a stiff neck. He had acupuncture treatment for that.
Yeah, he missed 10 games late in the season. Battled anemia, missed 9 of those because of that. 1 he missed because of the stiff neck.
That was Utah's first free throw to go in this first quarter. Only 2 attempts. 2019, the Rockets by 1. You see the time remaining in the first quarter. About 10 seconds difference between the shot and the game clock. Mario Ellie, number 17, now checking into the ball game. Ellie, a good out-court shooter. Tries to follow his own. He's got it. 11 seconds in the quarter. Sam Cassell ducking in.
He needs to pull it out. You got the shot, but you give the Jazz plenty of time to get a shot off here.
Rockets leaded by 3. 2 seconds. Hornacek goes to the bucket and it's blocked. Beautiful. A nice effort that time by Charles Jones, 38 years old, who they just signed to go into the playoffs.
Well, we questioned why he was one of the people on the active roster when they had to put a couple of better scores on the injured list. You saw it on that play, straight on the defensive end.
And we're underway. 1 quarter is history. Salt Lake City, game 1 of this first round playoff in the Western Conference. Houston leading 22-19. And let's go now to Lisa Malone. Lisa?
Gary, the Rockets have a small oxygen tank behind the team bench, mainly for Akeem Olajuwon. He and Vernon Maxwell are both recovering from anemia. The Rockets team doctor, Walter Lowe, said before the game, Akeem's blood count is nearly normal. The oxygen is there mainly as a psychological help. Salt Lake City, of course, 4,200 feet above sea level, not quite as high as the mile-high city Denver, but high enough that Akeem wants a little extra help.
All right, Lisa, in that first quarter, Utah needs some help with their shooting.
Yes, they do. The Houston Rockets went to Galveston for a mini camp situation earlier here in this week. The one thing they wanted to accomplish, get back to the defense that won them the championship last year. So far, the Utah Jazz shooting 39%, so it's worked.
John Stockton come back into the lineup now as we start this second quarter. Also, Blue Edwards makes his first appearance. He is the guy they acquired this year from the Boston Celtics after trading him away earlier to Milwaukee. Stockton from outside, he hit a 3.
That's another good look for John Stockton because of his ability to play against the pick and roll.
Stockton is 4 of 5. He had a career high behind the line this year, shooting 45% from three-point land.
He takes so many good shots. Very rarely will you see him put up a bad one.
And Maxwell comes in. This is his first shot. Out it comes to Blue Edwards. Here's Chambers. Quickly to Stockton. A very efficient team, as you can see. Passing the ball very efficiently.
Well, they know when to run, and he knows when not to run it. And he pulled it out to make sure they got a good look at the basket.
Benoit kicks it out to Chambers. Chambers this year won over 20,000 points in his career. I should say 19,000 points. He's called for traveling. The veteran who has been around for a long time brings some real savvy to this Utah team.
Yeah, and I think on that play what you saw was Chambers catches, and instead of moving it to the weak side of the floor for what might have been a better shot, he has a shooter's and a scorer's mentality. He thinks go to the basket first.
Adam Keith now checked into the ball game. He's been a welcome addition to Utah. There's a rebound by Stockton. Cassell missing the shot. Stockton pushing it all the way in, draws the foul, and he got the basket. Yes. Charles Jones with a foul.
Now, the real key as you look at what's happening in this game, and if you're wondering why the tempo has changed, It's because of the shot selection right now, the Houston Rockets. They're putting all shots up from the outside. Of course, they'll do that with Olajuwon out of the game, but what happens is they're long rebounds now, and that gives Stockton and company a chance to get out on the break, and he has taken advantage of it.
And John Stockton has played extremely well in the early going, 5 of 6 from the field, and Stockton now gives the Jazz a 25-22 lead.
And Hakeem Olajuwon back into the ball game. He'll touch it right now.
They jump it in. Chambers trying to guard him for the baseline. The shot not there. Antoine Carr with a rebound.
And no red shirts in the paint on any shot here in this period.
Well, they're the worst offensive rebounding team in the NBA. Here's Jones ahead to Cassell. Cassell has a majority break. He'll take it to the hole. Sam Cassell is a gamer. He has some toughness to his game.
It seems like he steps up in the big game. We saw it in the playoffs last season. And you're seeing it again here tonight.
25-24, Stockton penetrating again. Antoine Carr from outside. Rebound by Vernon Maxwell. Maxwell also had an anemia problem. Also was out in the suspension. He's had a lot of disruption to his game this year. The double team is off of the team. Good job that time by Utah.
Well, Lou Edwards went aggressively on the double team. He left no question about it. It was his assignment to go, and he forced the turnover.
9:44 to go in game 1 in this first half. The Jazz by 1. Utah outscoring Houston in the second quarter 6-2 in Stockton with all 6 points. You look back at this season, the best in Jazz history. That's the second best record in the NBA, second only to San Antonio.
Well, as you look at that record, consider now that's the first time ever Utah has had a winning record on the road. They did a great job away from this building. They led the league in field goal percentage. They are a legitimate contender for the championship.
Jerry Sloan in his 7th year, I think probably the best team he's had in Utah. Blue Edwards missing outside. Out it comes to Stockton. Seems like Utah's getting all the loose balls.
Yes, they are. Because of that, they have about 7 more shot attempts in this ball game.
And Stockton inside. No one stopped the ball. He continues to take it inside. And Stockton off to a monster game here tonight. He has 14 points. He also has 4 rebounds. 27-24. Slow start in the second quarter by the Houston team, who led 22-19 after 1 quarter. There's a foul inside. Tom Chambers.
You know, so often you work against, when you prepare for the Jazz, you work against this pick and roll. And once again, it gives them an easy shot at the basket because, I mean, these guys have seen it all. They know that they're going to change it up with Houston, and they've been able to continue to find shots there.
And Stockton is 6 of 7 for the field. Here's Mario Ellie. He traveled with it. The turnover gets it back to the Jazz. So the Jazz have really started to settle in now. After a very shaky start, they started to establish some control in this ball game.
Well, there was so much emotion early in the ball game, and they have settled down now, getting good shots every time.
Oh, mainly Stockton. 8 now. He's on fire. 15-4 run by the Jazz. Maxwell, he can light it up. They may need him to get it started.
Well, I think what they need is Olajuwon to touch the ball, and he does, and he gets a good shot. But the double teams are coming down more aggressively, and Adam keeps working hard, coming and making his body big.
Olajuwon had 15 points in the first quarter, has not scored in the second. 29-24 Utah. Cassell this time able to stop that penetrating move. Illegal defense. Second one. So they'll be shooting a technical. Rudy T talked about the confidence of his team. He felt the defense would turn it around. He said, we are a team that has that mental toughness, and it has been tested all year. It's tough to defend the title. And Carr with the free throw, and at the end of the game, Jack Gibbons and I will be selecting the Budweiser player of the game.
Until that free throw by Antoine Carr, John Stockton had all 10 points for the Utah Jazz in this period.
Quarter number 2 has been John Stockton. 30-24 Utah. Stockton challenges Hakeem. Carr tries to keep it alive. Adam Keefe has got it. Boy, what an addition he's been to this team.
I mean, the way Stockton's playing is such an accomplishment to force him to miss a shot. You have to get the offensive rebound. The defensive rebound.
Utah out rebounding Houston 21-9, blocked by Hakeem. Akeem came in, second in the league in blocks. He has 2 tonight. And at the other end, Maxwell. And Maxwell's the kind of guy that can really turn a game around if he gets it going.
And it's usually something little, something small that gets him going. It might well be this play. Watch the block by Olajuwon. Adam Keefe. You have to dress it up a little bit more than that. And then Maxwell gets out on the break, takes it to the hole. Very simple play, but Blue Edwards made a bad choice. And that might be the play to get Vernon Maxwell going.
Edwards committing his first foul. Maxwell at the line. A guy who's had a very difficult year, to say the least, but he gets a three-point play. But he has the ability to light you up. I remember last year, Houston was down 0-2 to Phoenix. Maxwell came in and scored 34 points and turned the series around. Stockton out to Antoine Carr to the hole, and he gets the foul.
Well, that's why he's on the floor. His quickness is effective against Olajuwon on the defensive end of the floor because he can step out and play him, but really his real effect is going to be on offense. He's able to step away from the basket, pull Olajuwon out of there, and then he takes it to the hole here and gets the chance for the three-point play.
Foul going on Cassell, his first. Carr with 5 points, now 6. And again, you cannot say about how much his addition has meant to the ball club. He's given him muscle under the board, and he can come in and spell Karl Malone, and not a dramatic drop-off when he's in there.
Well, after his season last year in San Antonio, a lot of people were wondering if he was even going to be in the league this year. So give the Jazz a lot of credit. They took a chance on him, understanding they needed to get bigger around the basket. And he's picked it up and been very effective.
Second foul on Blue Edwards, still inbound. Ellie into Sam Cassell. Here's Chilkich. Got to respect his range. He can go out and shoot it. Akeem. Chambers bodies him. The basket will count. Chambers can't believe they called it on him. It'll send Akeem to the line.
I've never seen Tom Chambers called for a foul that he did not argue.
Oh, you're kidding me.
Never seen it. Now, here's a little push right there. Not a whole lot of contact, so he might have some argument, but he has to understand who he's playing against here.
They got to get somebody to line up at the free throw line before they can shoot the free throw. Let me correct one thing on Tom Chambers. It is 20,000 points he went over this year, not 19. Both he and Malone went over 20,000 points this year. That's a good trivia question. What team had 2 guys in one season accomplish that feat? It was Malone and Chambers. 33-29 Utah. 7 minutes to go, first half. Here's Stockton using that high screen by Carr.
Now, I'll tell you, as I look at that screen by Carr, if I'm Rudy T, I'm screaming at the officials. Blue Edwards knocks down the three-point shot. But I'm screaming at the officials calling for an illegal screen.
Moving.
Because he's moving. Every time Stockton makes the move in either direction, he changes to split position.
Biggest lead of the ball game, as then at the other end, Houston able to answer with Olajuwon now 19 points. Blue Edwards has had some big games this year. At 3 has to give him confidence from the corner.
Well, his whole career has been revitalized since the move that brought him here to Boston.
Stockton misses the 3. Maxwell trying to get out on the run. Stockton tries to stop the ball. Look at Maxwell. To the hole, missed it. Chilkett saves it, but he stepped on the baseline. Timeout. 6:09 to go. First half of play. Ellie pounds the ball under the floor. Got to be careful. You can get the tee. A frustrated Houston team. Utah with a 36-31 lead, and it's been John Stockton with 16 points.
16 points. They've come from everywhere. Here he pulls up and shoots the jump shot. Another very successful season for John Stockton as he continues to set records. All-time assist leader, as you well know, 8 straight assist titles. He is the #1 percentage shooting guard in the NBA at 54%. Also having a career-high year from behind the three-point line. Doesn't make many mistakes.
Yeah, he has 8 times in a row tied Bob Cousy for leading the league 8 consecutive seasons. Penetrate. 5:58 to go in this first half. Adam Keefe, the guy they acquired from the Atlanta Hawks for Tyrone Corbin. He came in, lost weight, and he has energized this team coming off the bench all year long.
Yeah, he's played in the last 64 straight games. He missed 6 of the first 17 because of coach's decision. They didn't know if he'd make it here or not.
Olajuwon kicks it out to Cassell with a 3. He didn't want to take that shot.
No.
He wasn't ready for that. Malone with a rebound. Drexler gets back defensively. Keith, there's that hustle.
Oh, my. Beautiful, beautiful pass. Blue Edwards, Adam Keith filling the lane.
He always plays hard. What impressed him when he was in Atlanta is how hard he plays off the ball. There was an example of it. Gets out. Up to Olajuwon. Olajuwon doesn't get it. And right now, Houston's in a little bit of trouble. Up to Keith, going for his third basket. Timeout, Houston.
Well, it's amazing the little things that give you an opportunity to make the run. And it all is because the Utah Jazz are out hustling the Houston Rockets right now. Great shot selection, good ball movement, and unselfish play. And you see it right here as Blue Edwards getting the easy shot for Adam Keith.
Keith with 6 points in 49 seconds, and the Jazz with their biggest lead. Utah has taken a 42-31 lead, led by Adam Keith. 6 points in 49 seconds. Then it comes to Olajuwon. Olajuwon can't get open. Out to Horry with a 3. Rebound is cleared by Chilton.
Clyde Drexler, another guy for the Rockets that has to get going. He's played 13 minutes, has not scored in this ball game.
Well, he hasn't really touched the ball, has he?
Hasn't had many shots.
Here's Horry, and another power move to the basket. I don't think his back is bothering him now.
It hurts a whole lot less after a play like that.
That could be a turnaround situation. Get that kind of energy. Houston needs something now to build on, trailing 42-33. Into Malone, no foul. He hits the deck, and he scares holes through Mike Mathis. There's a steal attempt by Blue Edwards, and Houston will get it back. Let's go back to Horry. Remarkable power move down the middle.
You'll see the pass right here off of Olajuwon. I think it's important for a team to touch the ball at least every time down, every other time down, because the double team has to come, and he's great at throwing out of it. He gets a lot of shots for his teammates.
Antoine Card leaning on Olajuwon. He can't get a shot. Cassell gets open for a 2. That is a 2. He was inside the line. Make that Kenny Smith. Kenny Smith hitting it inside the line, and it's 42-35.
Well, once again, that basket came because Olajuwon touched the ball, and the double team had to come.
Stockton goes inside, and Mike Mathis this time is going to get a blocking screen outside a foul.
Now, there's the play I'm talking about. I'm Rudy T. I'm screaming every time that screen is illegal. You have to call it, and they finally get it.
It's on Antoine Carr, his third. 42-35, a little mini comeback now by the Rockets. Here's Drexler. You mentioned he's got to get going. Maybe this will do it. Out there, Jokic tries to tip it out. James Donaldson is fouled. The 7'2", 37-year-old center. Coming up at halftime, the Reebok halftime report. Ernie Johnson in our Atlanta studios with Isaiah Thomas. We'll take a look at the highlights of that New York-Cleveland game. Boy, the Knicks got up impressively. And Atlanta and Indiana. EJ and Zeke in Atlanta at halftime. We understand the Lakers in Seattle just about ready to tip off game 1. Here is Malone. Malone the follow away against Chilton. He got it. Malone, prior to that shot, was 3 of 9.
Well, you know, the 3 field goals he's made, he's taken exactly what the defense has given him. Every other time, he's put the ball on the floor, tried to get the officials to call the foul for him. He's not getting the calls tonight.
Stockton almost comes up with a move that precipitated a travel, and Chilton hits the 3. You've got to respect Pete Chilton from outside. He shoots 41% behind the line. Ball deflected. Drexler's got it ahead to Chilton. Edwards is back. Kenny Smith to the trailing Horry. And Horry is having a slam dunk contest at the expense of Utah.
Yes, he is. He's filling the lane very well. And he's continuing to move without the basketball, knowing that if he does that, he's going to get some high percentage shots.
And lead now whittled to 4. Utah 44-40. Stockton again trying to use Donaldson as his pick-and-roll guy. Into Donaldson, the left-handed shot. Well, he won't score a lot. He only averaged 2.6 this season.
Yeah, he's made 23, now 24 of his last 32 field goal attempts. It only took him about 3 months to get 32 field goal attempts.
Well, he's the new Mark Eaton, I guess. He's left-handed, not quite as tall as Mark Eaton. Here is Drexler, follow away. That was an awkward-looking effort. He's 0 for 4 now for the field.
And you've seen a lot of guys getting hit going to the basket. Beautiful pass, John Stockton. Gorgeous pass to streaking Blue Edwards.
And that's the reason he's the all-time assist guy. His 6th assist tonight. And Blue Edwards with the left-handed shot. Back up to an 8-point lead now for the Jazz. A minute 41 left in this first half.
Well, a lot of guys taking the ball to the basket.
Oh, what a nice move by Hakeem.
But no one really attacking it. Drexler's been hit a couple times. Malone has been hit a couple times, but they're not making the aggressive move towards the basket.
Olajuwon now with 21 points in the ball game. Stockton hung up in the midair. Horry comes up with it. Horry ahead to Kenny Smith. And I'll tell you, Houston is really now starting to come up with the steals and getting the breaks out.
Well, you see Jerry Sloan, he wants the 22nd timeout here to try to get things back under control. But now that Stockton has been putting the ball on the floor and trying to get to the paint, the Houston defense is geared to get in there and to cut off Stockton as he tries to go to the basket and finally getting some results out of that defensive scheme.
And the last 6 points for the Houston Rockets have come on the break. And if you look at this Houston team, they do a very good job in stealing the ball. All year long they were good at it. And led, interestingly enough, by Hakeem Olajuwon. But you got Drexler, who does a good job, and you saw Horry coming up the steal just a moment ago. Boy, we've had some surges in this game, haven't we? The emotion switching back and forth so much.
And it coincides with the team that at the time is best on the defensive end of the floor. You remember the run the Jazz made? They did it because they were forcing turnovers and getting easy, high-percentage shots. Now the Rockets doing just the same thing.
There's Stockton using a high screen by Donaldson, and Smith runs into it and has committed the foul, and Kenny is pleading his cause. He felt that Donaldson was moving.
Well, interesting here to see if Donaldson steps up. Well, it's not a bonus situation. But I was going to see if Donaldson stepped up to the line or Stockton was going to try to steal the two. It won't matter if they get the ball on the side.
Smith commits his first foul. Now trying to fight through the pick again of Donaldson. Stockton out to David Benoit, who comes back. Not able to get his Drexler with the rebound.
Didn't quite have his pace set on that shot attempt. Boy, Drexler has still not scored in this first half.
He is 0 for 4. And it comes now to Olajuwon. Kicks it out. Kenny Smith, he's hit 2 threes now. He is the guy who led him in three-point shooting as far as the percentages are concerned with a 42%. That was 8th in the league.
Yeah, you talk about Vernon Maxwell behind the three-point line.
The shot clock was not operating. That's what Jimmy Clark has spotted.
But you talk about Vernon Maxwell as the guy who throws up the most shots from behind the three-point line. Kenny Smith is the career leader as far as percentage is concerned behind the three-point line for this Houston team.
And has the worst-looking shot in the history of the game, the tornado.
And it doesn't matter where it comes from. It looks bad everywhere. Even on layups, it looks bad.
Houston on a 14-4 run, and they really started doing it with their defense.
Well, you know, they went to Galveston, as I mentioned. They had a mini camp, 2 days, a couple of those days. And the one thing that they worked on more than anything else is defense. That's the thing that carried them through all the season last year as they put together a 63-win season. And they have to get back to that if they're going to repeat as champions of the NBA.
Well, they've put the game clock at 32.2. The shot clock still at 20 as we come back in now. The waning seconds of this first half. Donaldson stolen by a team. And again, the defense. And we have a technical on Stockton. Stockton raced over to Dan Crawford, the official, and Sloan's got to be careful. He's got one, I believe. Let's see. They called it on Stockton anyway. Do we have a double? Let's see.
Well, I'm wondering how many steps Olajuwon took here as he took the ball to the basket. Now let's see, he picks it up. Oh yeah. My goodness. Yeah, you're going to have to argue that. If you can't get that call in this building, you're not going to get anything.
Well, I guess when you're a superstar, you get a call once in a while. Well, the technical was just one. It was on Stockton, but Sloan was pretty close to getting one himself.
Well, it's interesting as you look at Jerry Sloan here. He knew Stockton was close. He ran out there trying to get Dan Crawford to look his direction instead of John Stockton. It did not happen. Stockton picked up the technical.
Boy, this Houston team's on a 19-4 run occurring in the last 4 minutes and 2 seconds. And defense is nothing.
It wins this time of year. That's the one thing you have to have.
Rockets by 2. Malone ducks in. He traveled, and I'll tell you, Karl Malone tonight has had nothing going his way.
Well, he has not. And as I said, it got started early for Karl Malone. He picked up the technical foul on about the 3rd play of the game. since that time, everything has gone against him. He's taken the ball to the basket, and contact that he normally gets, he hasn't got in this ball game.
He scored 10. That's 13 turnovers against Utah. Deflected out of bounds. Utah have it now with 1.9 seconds left in the first half of play.
Watch the pass here to Stockton around the half-court line. They'll try to get it to him in that area. 1.9 is plenty of time.
Hornacek, he's got it underway in time. It would have counted had it gone. What a first half in game number 1, and an unhappy crowd here at the Delta Center. 50-48. Stay with us. The Reebok halftime report coming up. Ernie Johnson and Isaiah Thomas from Atlanta.
The Reebok Halftime Report is brought to you by Reebok.
They are halfway home at the Delta Center. Game 1 of the Houston-Utah series, and the defending NBA champions, the Rockets, using a 10-0 run late in the second quarter to take a 50-48 lead over the Utah Jazz. Ernie Johnson in Atlanta with the Reebok Halftime Report. Joined, of course, by Isaiah Thomas, who's with us these first 2 nights of the playoffs on Turner Sports. And I think it's that championship heart maybe coming out with the Houston Rockets. Not a whole lot of folks think they can repeat being the number 6 seed and opening up on the road.
Well, that's what Houston is exactly saying. They're saying, hey, Utah, if you're going to beat us, we're the champs. We've been through it. You got to come through us. People underestimate the heart of a champion, and that's what Houston is proving right now. They have the heart of a champion.
Spoken like a guy who's got a couple of those championship rings, those rocks that you're wearing on your left hand. Let's talk about Hakeem Olajuwon and what you have to do if you're Utah to defend this guy.
Well, if you're Utah, the first thing you got to understand is that Hakeem is 2 people. Hakeem and Olajuwon,
Okay.
and he's guarded
I didn't realize that.
He's guarded by Antoine Carr in the post, and they chose not to double team him. So as Sam Cassell makes the pass, and we freeze it here, you see that there's no one who comes back to double Hakeem and Olajuwon. So he gives you the dip, the fake, which way I'm going to go. Well, maybe I turn around and shoot the J.
Always seems to create himself a little bit of space with the dream shake. And, boy, Antoine Carr hitting the snooze bar there as Olajuwon knocks it down. He had 15 of his points in the first quarter.
So now Utah makes an adjustment here, and they realize that you do have to double team Hakeem and Olajuwon because he's 2 people.
Well, it sounds like they're playing 5-on-6 here.
That's exactly what they're doing. Cassell makes the pass, and we'll see Blue Atlas drop back in the post to double team Hakeem and Olajuwon. Steals it, rolls out of bounds. Utah gets the turnover.
As a result, the Houston Rockets with a 2-point lead. An interesting point on this first half. The shooting guards, Jeff Hornacek and Clyde Drexler, have yet to scratch. No points for either of those guys as Utah and Houston play Game 1 at the Delta Center. We'll be back to take a look at what happened in the Cleveland, New York opener when we come back. The NBA playoffs on TBS. The Rockets by a deuce over the Jazz at the break as the Reebok halftime report continues. Earlier tonight in New York, you kind of got the feeling the Knicks are playoff ready. They only shot 63% against the Cleveland Cavaliers, a pretty good defensive club, and thrashed Cleveland 103-79. Patrick Ewing did a lot of the damage, 21 points and 9 rebounds. Gets post-up position and then spins away and knocks it down, 2 of his 21. Charles Oakley, tough on the boards. He always is. He's a real warrior. They didn't block him out. He stuck it back in. 2 of his 19 points had double-digit rebounds to go along with it. Finish it off with Patrick. Backdoor. Sweep. 103-79. The Knicks thumping and bumping their way to a victory in Game 1 in front of the home folks at Madison Square Garden. Mark Price was shut down by the Knicks, and Craig Sager talked to Price after the game.
Obviously, your bread and butter is that pick and roll. When they do such a great job against it, where do you go to find offense?
Well, that's what we got to come up with. You know, they did a terrific job, obviously, defending that, and you could tell they were really focused in on me. They weren't going to let me get a good look at the basket if they could help it. And we just got to find ways to, with all their double teaming and running guys at me, we got to, look at some film and try to come up with a way to make them pay for some of those things.
Not to make excuses, but the pin in the wrist, how much does that affect you, what you want to do?
Well, it's been a rough year as far as that goes physically right now. My heels bother me as well, but, you got to play right now. I'm not going to get any rest till this summer, and right now we're in the playoffs, and you got to play through it.
What did you see that you think you can adjust to?
Well, like I said, we'll have to watch it on film tomorrow. You know, they're double teaming me, obviously, about every time I have the ball coming off a pick or whether I'm coming off a screen. And we have to find ways to, when I get the ball and they do double team, that somebody's got to be open and we got to find that person.
So the Cleveland Cavaliers hope for better things in Game 2 Saturday afternoon against the New York Knicks. The other Eastern Conference series that opened tonight, the Atlanta Hawks had a 10-point lead in the third quarter with about 8 minutes left in that quarter, and then a 20-7 Indiana run opened the door to a 90-82 Pacer victory over the Hawks. Reggie Miller came alive in the second half. 9 points in the first half, 17 in the second half to finish with 26, if my math is correct. Indiana wins at 90-82. We'll be back to wrap things up on the Reebok Halftime Report after this. Welcome back to our Atlanta studios. The Reebok Halftime Report continues. I bet you folks didn't know, and I bet you didn't know, this is an anniversary, April 27th, 11 years ago. You know what you were doing 11 years ago tonight? Scoring 16 straight points in a playoff game, and this is the way it went. Take a look and take a listen.
Knicks by 8. Here's Thomas. And the foul. The Hawks beat the Pistons on the Stockton. Isaiah right back and the foul. Hubie Brown did not want a foul in that situation. 1 point. Isaiah is pushing one. And Trapuka looking to inbound. King went for the steal. Isaiah, three-point attempt. He's got it. We're tied. And a timeout called by the Knicks.
I believe, Mr. Thomas, they call that being in the zone. Your recollections of that night?
It was a great night.
That may be the understatement of the evening. Great stuff. Isaiah Thomas, the anniversary 11 years ago tonight. The third quarter is coming up from Utah. It's the Rockets, the champs, by a deuce over the Jazz. Keep it here, folks.
The Reebok Halftime Report has been brought to you by Reebok.
The Rockets lead by 2 at halftime. Utah led by as many as 11 in that first half of play, but then a spurt at the end by the Rockets, and they have the lead at the halfway point. In the first half, it was John Stockton, Jack Gibbons, along with Akeem Olajuwon that were carrying them offensively.
Well, Stockton got off to a great start in this ball game. Houston finally figured out the pick and roll. They took the ball out of John Stockton's hands. Because of that, the Jazz turned the ball over far more than they're used to doing. And that gave Houston a number of opportunities on the fast break. They got a lot of easy baskets, but it started on the defensive end.
We had some spectacular dunks. Robert Horry had 3 of them. We're going to show one of them to you. You love this one, so we're going to show you the replay. Watch this one.
Well, I think it tells the story for the Houston Rockets. You see them come up with the loose ball. You see them push the ball down the floor, and because of the still on the defensive end, they were able to get another high percentage shot. A lot of those came late in the second period.
All right, now take a look at tonight's Budweiser game summary. And here is that run we were talking about. But first, look at the discrepancy in rebounds.
Well, you see this rebound total, and you would think that the Utah Jazz would be cruising right along. As I mentioned, the problem is they turned the ball over 13 times for 15 Houston points, and they all figured in to that 19-6 run.
And they did it with defense. Let's go now to our courtside reporter, Lisa Morowski. Lisa, take it away.
Okay, guys. Rockets coach Rudy Tomjanovich said just as the team left the floor that he's basically pleased with the team's performance. He's concerned about the Utah fast break, as well he should be. But he said the Rockets dug themselves out of a hole because of good, solid defense. They've relied on that all season long. That's what they need to win this ball game.
Lisa, thank you. Interestingly enough, in the first half, this guy, Clyde Drexler, and Karl Malone did not have the kind of numbers you would expect.
Well, I don't know when I've seen a game where 2 of the 3 primary superstars in this game, or 4 primary superstars, have been almost nothing. Clyde Drexler, no points, but even more surprisingly, he has only 4 shot attempts in this game. That tells me he's not moving well without the basketball. And Karl Malone, 4 for 10. He's been fighting the officials this entire game. He has to put them out of his mind if he's going to be a factor in this ballgame.
Yeah, I think the emotion for Karl Malone was all messed up early in this ballgame. Olajuwon, the guy who's carried him on their shoulders all the way at that big first half, with 23 points. Let's look now at the leading scorers at the halfway point of game one here from the Delta Center. John Stockton with 16 points. And he, again, was doing a very good job distributing the ball. You would expect that each time he comes in. Stockton got the technical late in that first half, upset about a call that didn't get called against Olajuwon.
Well, we ran the replay back a couple of times, and I tried to count how many steps he took before he got to the basket. I lost count after he got about 5 or 6. So maybe he should have been called for a travel on that one. John Stockton, though, will probably have a big second half. Karl Malone needs to step up and have a big one also if they're going to win this ballgame.
I think he will. Hakeem, we saw him early in the ball game. He went to the oxygen. They got him out early in the game. He's had as many as 41 points in this series this year with Utah and averaged almost 37, and it's going to take all of that tonight if they're going to win this one.
Well, he's well underway. 23 first-half points. Surprisingly, he has just 2 rebounds in this ballgame.
Well, the rebounds, as you noticed a while ago, a huge difference in this game. But this Houston team is not a good rebounding team. We talked about that all year long.
Well, they're not. And early in the ball game, when Utah did have control of the game, they were getting to the offensive boards, getting a lot of second-chance opportunities.
Third quarter underway. It'll be Smith, Drexler, Olajuwon, Chilcutt, and Horry, the same 5 that started the ball game for Rudy T. Olajuwon, and they called him for traveling. He moved the pivot foot, trying to get away from Donaldson. It's Donaldson, Malone, Stockton, Benoit, and Hornacek, the 5 that opened the game for Jerry Sloan.
Well, Jeff Hornacek calls that one. He got the steal earlier in this ball game because of his good guessing as Olajuwon made his move. He forced the turnover again.
7 seconds on the shot clock. Hornacek gets Drexler in the air. Off to Benoit. Benoit with the 3. Got it.
Now, I wonder if the officials, as you see Benoit run the floor, have made their point with Karl Malone. I wonder if he will start getting the calls that he normally gets in this game. We'll see next time he touches the basketball.
Utah by 1. Olajuwon with a face-up. Donaldson got there, but too late. Rebound by Stockton. Okay, Houston did a nice job making him pick up the dribble. Yeah. This defensive team that Houston is, that's what won it for them last year, and they've regrouped in Galveston, Texas to make the same commitment in the playoffs this season. Look at Drexler all over Hornacek. 5 seconds on the shot clock. Stockton with a 3. Malone with a rebound. They hack it away. Horry got a piece of it, a jump ball, and Malone thought he was fouled again.
Well, and he's still not getting the calls, or at least he didn't on that particular play. I'll tell you what, you got to give Houston a lot of credit on defense. They are going at him with the double team. They are making themselves big as they come from the weak side. And they have him guessing right now on offense.
I tell you, Horry has played strong. He's had those 3 dunks. He's hit the boards. And obviously, they missed him this year. He was out so many games, 18 games with back problems. They're going to re-jump it. No, they're going to give it to Houston.
Karl Malone, once again, he stole it as they made the tip, hit it on the way up.
Okay, this is not a happy crowd right now.
No, it's really not.
Jazz by 1, 51-50. Malone has to respect Chilcutt. He hit a 3 in that first half. Smith inside, dumps it off. Malone with the steal. Hornacek on the move. Baseline Malone. So maybe that's the beginning for the mailman.
Well, I know all these fans here really hope so. He's not been a factor so far in this game.
He came in averaging 26.7. That was 4th in the NBA. Ducking his shoulder is Olajuwon. Rebound, and it's going to be off of Utah. A lot of body contact that time inside.
Well, and watch Karl Malone after every play. If he doesn't get the call, the first thing he does is looks at the officials. They're never going to call it for him if he continues to do that.
Horry will try another 3. Rebound is cleared by Malone. Malone averaged 10.6 rebounds. He has 8 tonight. Hasn't scored, but he has done a job on the board. Utah by 3. 9:45 to go in the third. Malone with Chilcutt on him. 7 seconds on the shot clock. Hornacek ducking in, no place to go. Kenny Smith comes up with the ball. Now it comes to Chokin. To the trailing Horry, he's fouled. And Horry seems to be finishing so well tonight. He's really helped him on the breakout.
Well, look at where he's catching the ball. Every time he gets it at his hand, he's right at the basket. So you have no chance of getting in front of him for the charge, and you also have no chance of blocking the shot. He gets up off the floor so well.
Donaldson committed the foul. You know, we were talking about Malone not having a very good game. Hornacek survived himself.
That's exactly right. We haven't talked about Jeff Hornacek, but he is going to have to turn it on also. One reason why the Houston defense on Malone has been so effective is that other than Stockton, no one giving the Jazz any offense from the outside. That's one area they excelled in all season long, leading the league in field goal percentage at 52.
Also the leading free throw shooting team. Horry now can cut it to 1. And he does. 53-52. Game 1, Game 2 Saturday, and Game 3 is Wednesday in Houston. Stockton using that pick and roll. Malone trying to fight loose inside. Chokin doing a pretty good job of fronting him right now.
Well, just think about it. He's done a great job all around on the defense.
That would have counted had it gone on a continuation. Malone is fouled as he ducks inside.
Well, see, eventually Karl Malone's going to start getting those calls. I mean, what makes it tough if he doesn't is that the officials have called it for him all year long. The crowd understands that. Jerry Sloan over on the bench understands that, and Karl Malone understands it. So eventually he's going to get it. They have to continue to give him the basketball, and he has to continue to be aggressive going to the basket.
From the free throw line now, he is 2 of 3. 54-52 Utah. Well, what Karl Malone has to do is make amends with Mike Mathis. He did get on a good footing with Mike Mathis tonight.
Karl Malone needs to go over to the bench, get a cup of that water or whatever they drink over there, bring it out to Mike Mathis, and make a peace offering. So here we are. We can forget about the first half. We can be buddies again. And now give me a call or two.
Malone with 13 points in the ball game. Drexler needs to get going. He stumbles. The ball comes loose. Benoit head to Stockton. Horry is back to the trailing. Benoit got in too far, and he lost the ball. He got the ball too deep, couldn't do anything with it, and he looks like he may be hurt.
Well, you talk about lower back. He fell right on his lower back that time. I tell you what, he was off to his best season ever earlier this year. He missed a whole month, 11 games, because of a bad ankle.
Now he had a stress reaction in the right ankle. Here's a guy that's really battled through some problems. He admitted that he was having problems with alcohol. He went into rehabilitation before the start of the season and has really come on this season for him.
He came back in training camp, and there's some body contact as he gets up. You saw Olajuwon bump him down low, took his legs right out from under him. Nothing intentional. But let's see the contact here. There it is right there. So he probably should be on the free throw line. Instead, they're picking him up off the floor right now, and he's going to stay in the ball game.
Their reasoning probably is he had nothing he could do with the ball. He was too deep, had nothing that he could do, so they didn't give him the call.
Tell Jerry Sloan that.
Well, I know. I'm just trying to explain it.
Tell Jerry Sloan that. He might buy it.
I'll never talk to Jerry Sloan about that.
Yeah, Jerry's working the officials also. Now, he hasn't had a technical foul in this game. He might feel it's going to take one for him to start getting the calls for his big-name guy.
So Benoit stays in the ball game. In it comes to Olajuwon. A team spin move. Out to Smith. The crowd thought there was another traveling call. Chokin with a jumper. That's a 2.
I really like what he brings to this Houston team. I like the fact that he plays under control at all times. I like the fact he understands his limitations. He doesn't shoot any bad shots, and he knocks down that shot when they most need him.
Chokin with 7 points and 6 rebounds. Hornacek still looking for his first field goal. Olajuwon with a rebound, and you know Jeff is going to stop that somewhere. He's 0 for 6.
Well, so maybe we need to talk Drexler and talk about the job he's doing on the defensive end of the floor and not concentrate so much on the fact that he hasn't been a factor offensively.
They double on Olajuwon. He has to get it out. He threw it away. Drexler and he not on the same page. The two guys who played in 2 Final Fours for Guy Lewis's Houston Cougars tonight have not teamed up real well. 2 outstanding players that you figure is going to come together sooner or later.
Well, I'll tell you what, they're going to have to get something from Clyde Drexler before this game is over. offensively.
Jazz by one. Chilcutt, that's going to be a foul as he tried to front Malone inside. So on Chilcutt, that will be his third foul. Chilcutt played at North Carolina for Dean Smith. In '91, the Tar Heels went to the Final Four in Indianapolis. He was then a first-round draft pick of Sacramento, traded over to Detroit for Olden Polynice, then started the year in Italy, and he's been a real acquisition, a free agent for the Houston team. Hornacek and Olajuwon commits the foul. That'll be his first.
Well, it's interesting when you watch a guy that is an offensive player, a guy that knows that his role with his team is to get points. And I'm talking Jeff Hornacek right now. The shots are not going from the outside. He knows he has to find a way to get in the scoring column. So he took the ball to the basket that time, gave up his body for 2 free throws.
Well, he's in the scoring column now, his first point of the night.
Now watch here. Clyde Drexler forces him to put it on the floor. He knows Olajuwon's there. He makes sure there's some body contact, and he gets 2.
Hornacek, an 88% free throw shooter. That was 9th best in the NBA, but he misses the second. He has 1 point tonight.
Well, see, that's the other thing about offensive players, and Drexler's going through it right now. Very rarely do they go a half without scratching. So now they're thinking, we've got to score. I've got to get points, and they might get a little over-anxious.
Horry cross-court to Drexler. 8 seconds on the shot clock. Olajuwon triple team that time. Horry from outside, a 3.
Oh, big basket.
Okay, Horry has stepped up tonight. We mentioned earlier the 2 wins Houston had in the regular season. Horry had 6 of 8 from three-point land.
Yeah, and as I'm watching he and David Benoit right now, they both played at the University of Alabama. They have a running feud.
Yes, they do. Missed by Malone. He left it short. Olajuwon with a rebound. Malone now 5 of 12 from the field. The Rockets by 1. Hakeem outside. I tell you, he's got so much traffic inside, he just goes out now and hits one.
Yeah, see, that's really tough. Donaldson did his job. He pushed him off the block. But once he catches it and faces the basket, Donaldson is lost.
Olajuwon with 25 points tonight. Stockton ducking in. They cut him off. 9 seconds on the shot clock.
Stockton had 16 at the half. He hasn't scored.
And they're going to throw it away. Now Drexler with one of his patented slams. And maybe that will get Clyde Drexler underway. He scores his first basket of the night.
On a turnover by a Utah team, and from Stockton, a guy who doesn't turn it over very often.
They've turned it over 17 times tonight. Well, the Rockets at halftime led by 2. They now have bumped it up to 5. And now let's take a look at tonight's GMC scoreboard. A couple of finals. And the Knicks with a 103-79 win. Ewing, 21 points and 9 rebounds. Indiana, look at Reggie Miller. 26 points to the ball game. And a partial Seattle with an early lead in that ball game.
Well, John Stockton, in addition to the rest of his teammates, has pulled off. He had 16 points at the half, still has 16. Houston has outscored the Jazz 7-0 in the last 54 seconds.
Smith tries the 3. Rebounded by Drexler. His patented move, and we've got a foul. And Horry right now is having a lot of fun.
Well, he's doing just what he has to do. He's very active. He's making sure that he continues to move without the basketball. And Antoine Carr picks up foul number 4. Once again, watch where he catches the basketball. That time he caught it out a little bit further. But no chance because of his quickness for the defense to get there to pick up an offensive foul.
Or an explosive leaper. He has those buzzsaw dunks, and we've seen 3 of them tonight as Tom Chambers now comes to lineup. Horry has 11 points, 4 assists, and 3 steals in the game.
Yeah, he's playing very well. I mentioned earlier in this ball game, you talk all you want about Olajuwon and Drexler, and you talk about Malone and Stockton. For this Houston team, there's none any more valuable than he is because of his ability to make shots from the outside. But he's such a good athlete. He does so many things well.
First round draft pick in 92, the 11th pick coming out of Alabama. Trying to hit his second free throw, and he does. 63-56.
Karl Malone's got to touch the ball here. He's got to have it.
John Crotty's checked into the ball game, giving Stockton a breather. 8 seconds on the shot clock. Trying to get it into Chambers. Chambers against Chilcutt. Pete Chilcutt blocks it and comes down with it.
Well, Didn't understand that play at all because you have Chambers working the low post. And instead of taking the ball to the basket where he's most effective.
Ball that's broken up. Crotty ahead to Malone.
Still think Carl needs to have it every time down here for the next 2 or 3 minutes.
And Jimmy Clark spots something inside as Adam Keefe now coming to the ball game. David Benoit is going to check out. Benoit seemingly okay after that hard ball that he had a moment ago. That foul just a moment ago is going to go on Chambers. It'll be his third. Carr left earlier with his fourth. Into Olajuwon. Horry back to Hakeem. Look at that move. Up and under move.
Beautiful.
So graceful, so fluid.
But I tell you what, if that double team doesn't come right now, it's too late because he's taking advantage of everyone they're throwing at him on the low post.
27 points for Olajuwon, and Malone tries to go inside, hit a brick wall, but he got the call this time. He hasn't gotten a lot of those, but he got this one as he was bounced backwards.
Well, you have to give him this time. Olajuwon stepped over, tried to cut him off, going to the basket. But this is the way they're going to get back in it if they are. He has to do it. He has to touch the ball. The other thing we don't talk about a whole lot with Karl Malone is ability to throw out of the double team.
Olajuwon to the second foul. Crotty penetrates inside and draws the foul. Crotty does not score a lot, but he's the kind of guy that's always ready to play. Tremendous worker, very smart, very reliable. And it was last year in the playoffs that Jerry Sloan started to give him some minutes. He started to do a good job for him.
I tell you what, when you talk Crotty, we probably need to put a mirror up and show John Stockton's face on the other side. What a luxury it is for this guy, a young player, to come in at the point guard spot and learn from John Stockton, one of the best to ever play the game.
81% free throws. Shooter, he's 1 of 2. It's now 65-59, the Rockets.
He has a lot of John Stockton traits.
Into Olajuwon, the double team coming.
Oh, that's a tough shot. That is a tough shot.
That's unblockable. 29 now for Olajuwon. He's headed for a monster game. He's 13 of 19 now from the field. Keefe off to Malone. Malone with that ball fake. Doesn't get Hakeem to go up. 10 seconds on the shot clock. Crotty ducks in. Here's Chambers, 35 years old. Out to Malone. Malone bounces into Olajuwon, and that little bump was enough to keep him from hitting the shot.
Tell you what, give Olajuwon a lot of credit. He's stepping out on the floor here and playing Karl Malone very well.
Out to Kenny Smith, 3:47 to go in the third.
Well,
Strong third quarter by Houston. Olajuwon, they wanted to travel there. Instead, Hakeem now has 31 points.
Well, he's kind of herky-jerky with his upper body, and that's what makes it look as though he's traveling every time he touches the basketball. We have seen him shuffle his feet, though, a couple times in this game.
Biggest lead of the ball game for Houston, up by 10.
Well, their defense has been excellent here in this second. Actually, about midway through.
There's that pick and roll, and Hornacek used it very well. So Jeff Hornacek hitting his first field goal. He is 1 of 7.
Well, I wonder how long. Well, you're going to get a timeout here. I was just going to say, I wonder how long now Olajuwon can go. We saw him go over to the bench and get the oxygen tank. They've been riding him hard here in this period. This timeout will get him a couple minutes.
So Hornacek now with the field goal.
You see his score right there on the screen. We haven't seen as much of this pick and roll as we normally do. This time it's Jeff Hornacek who will get it here. Karl Malone's going to come over and set an aggressive screen. It's going to free Jeff Hornacek up because Olajuwon does not step up and take that turn away from Jeff Hornacek. Normally it's Stockton that runs it. Jeff Hornacek very good off the dribble as well.
And his first field goal, interestingly enough, Jack, in the first half, Stockton had 16 points and 6 assists. He has not scored a point, nor been able to pick up an assist in the second half.
Well, that's unbelievable. But once again, you got to give the Houston defense a lot of credit. It starts with the guard.
There's Drexler, that little rough cut, came around, and they ran a play for Drexler after timeout, hoping that maybe they'd get him going.
Well, that might be the play. You know, he got his first bucket off of a turnover by Utah.
Still a 10-point lead for Houston. The ball is tipped by the Rockets with 14 seconds on the shot clock. Vernon Maxwell coming in. And for the first time tonight, the rookie from South Carolina, number 15, Jamie Watson, a second-round draft pick this year. Very good defensive player. Get his size in there at 6'6".
Well, I think that's why he's in there. And interesting, as Rudy T saw that move made, he countered with Vernon Maxwell, a much quicker player.
Oh, that's a tough shot. Maxwell played good defense. Adam Keefe tried to come up with it. And Mike Mathis now has stopped play. See what this is all about. Somebody hit somebody in the forehead.
Robert Horry.
And it looks like Adam Keefe was the guy that got hit.
Yeah, Robert Horry, I think, got him in the face. So Horry picks up his second personal.
Adam Keefe will now go to the line. We documented what an important addition he's been to this team. Played at Stanford, where he was a three-time All-Pac-10 performer. In 3 years, he led that conference in rebounding.
Well, if you take what he does around the offensive boards only and talk about that, you talk about a very valuable player for this Utah team. They've needed another rebounder. They needed another body that they can put around the basket, and he's done an excellent job.
Well, he scored 6 points in 49 seconds in that first half. Houston now has hit 8 of his last 9 field goal attempts and enjoy this 9-point lead.
Well, Houston, it's so tough when they're doing it on defense and they're taking good, unselfish shots every time they touch the ball. That's what we've seen in this third period.
Is that poetry there? Poetry in motion as Olajuwon with that little jump hook. He has 33. And it comes now to Malone. Malone backing on Hakeem, and he answers at the other end. That time, Hakeem couldn't bounce him away and get him off balance. 73-64, Houston, a minute 51 left in the third. Still good baseline to Maxwell. Quickly, they recover defensively. 8 seconds on the shot clock. Horry wanted a 3, ducks inside. 3 seconds, 2 seconds with 1, and almost came away with a shot, and now a loose ball foul on Robert Horry. They really did not execute well on that trip.
Well, they didn't, Nate. Olajuwon caught the ball with just about 2 seconds on the shot clock. Didn't have time to work. Took the lower percentage shot, and Robert Horry picked up the personal foul.
Houston is over the limit already. As Horry picks up the foul, and that sends Malone to the line.
That's one of the few stops we've seen out of Utah in this third period.
Malone with 17 points, 9 rebounds, 3 of 4 from the stripe. Talking to Jerry Sloan today, he says you cannot believe the work ethic of Karl Malone. The first year in the league, Karl Malone shot 48% from the free throw line. He wouldn't stand for that.
No, he wouldn't.
He worked until he's become a 70% free throw shooter almost every year.
Yeah, and Jerry Sloan said a lot of people wanted to take credit for making Karl Malone a better free throw shooter. He said the fact is Karl Malone made himself a better free throw shooter because he went home every summer and he worked on it until he got better.
He'll be 32 in July, but he takes care of himself, so that age really not that big a factor. He misses the second one, but the Jazz gets the opportunity, and Chambers gets the foul from Olajuwon.
Now that's Tom Chambers there, not necessarily dunking the ball through as he does on this play, but he took the ball to the basket where if he doesn't make it, he gets to the free throw line. Well, I think that play surprised
Yeah.
Olajuwon. I didn't know he still had this kind of leaps in his legs left.
Not Olajuwon, the entire Delta Center crowd.
Everyone here.
3 fouls on Olajuwon. Chambers now the chance for a three-point play. The 4-time NBA All-Star misses. Mario Elliott checked into the ball game. He has a rebound.
Now this is the unit on the floor for Houston that when they were in there, they put up a lot of shots from the outside, and the Jazz made a very effective run.
Tap it into Olajuwon. Olajuwon has it batted away, and they're going to have a jump ball. Chambers playing good defense that time on Hakeem.
You know, I think what we're seeing out of Hakeem right now is a little bit of a fatigue. Think about the last 2 or 3 times he's caught the basketball.
Yeah.
Lower percentage shots each time, and this time he gets tied up by Tom Chambers.
He's taken 22 shots. He's hit 15 for 33 points. The tip, but Stockton tries to steal it, and now we have a loose ball foul. Stockton very alertly came up with that, and Olajuwon committed his 4th foul.
So once again, you might be seeing fatigue setting in on Hakeem Olajuwon. He suffered through the last 10 or 11 games of the season with anemia. Now watch here, there's the push, and give him the foul on that particular play.
Well, in anticipation of what you're saying, Chucky Brown is coming in, and Olajuwon will get a well-needed rest.
Yeah, when you're tired, you make plays like that, and unfortunately for Hakeem Olajuwon, he got caught that time.
Boy, Tom Chambers has stepped up really big right now, but he misses a free throw. Chambers with that dunk a while ago on Olajuwon. Our team last year was the MVP in the NBA, the Defensive Player of the Year, and also the most valuable player in the finals. That's a three-peat in 1 year. No one's ever done.
First time it's ever been done.
73-68. Utah with a little mini push. Maxwell's been very quiet in this ball game. He's going to try it too.
Yeah. As I say, this unit on the floor for Houston shoots a lot of outside jump shots. The Jazz will get some fast break opportunities.
Maxwell's hit only 1 of 5 from the field. Here's Malone hung up to Keith. And there's an example of sheer hustle again by Adam Keith.
Yeah, he showed great hands on that one. That was not an easy pass to catch, but Malone made the right decision in the last split second.
An 8-0 run, and Utah's within 3. Kenny Smith, difficult shot. He hurried that one. Rebound by Chambers. Chambers has come in and done a good job at both ends of the floor. 14 seconds left in the quarter. High pick by Chambers for Stockton. Stockton inside. Off to Malone. Malone with 1 second. Not there, and we come to the end of the third quarter. But a very good finish by Utah. They find within 3. An 8-0 run at the end. The fourth quarter coming up.
Welcome back to the Utah Jazz Houston Rockets game. Rockets up by 3, 73-70. Joining me right now is well-known actor Wilfred Brimley. Wilfred, you're a longtime season ticket holder. I want to know what you think of this first half into the third quarter.
Well, I'm really proud of the Jazz, and I'm proud of the other kids, too. And I like to see these kids play. They play a hard game. I think they're the finest athletes in the world. I hate to see the referees beat them.
Your take on the series?
Oh, I think we're going to win this series. It's our turn, you know. If you're taking turns, we'll probably win the world.
I think you're right. Thanks a lot, Wilfred. Back to you, Gary.
Lisa, tell him, will you? I'm eating that cereal now. After watching this commercial, I eat it every morning.
He's a huge fan, isn't he? He loves the Jazz. He's at every game here.
We start the fourth quarter, and Watson remains in at a guard spot. Dumps it into Malone. 5 seconds on the shot clock. Stockton with a 3. And the rebound, they push Adam Keith away. A foul on Houston, and there was Keith again. Just not giving up. He's like a heat-seeking missile out there when he goes after a ball.
I'll tell you what about Adam Keith. The one thing he did since coming over here from Atlanta, he lost a lot of weight. Got down to where he was in great condition. The other thing is now they're playing him at the small forward spot. So he doesn't have to be a big physical guy. He can use his quickness and his effectiveness around the basket.
Mario Ellie whistled on the foul. So an 8-0 run at the very end by Utah has brought him in within 3 as we start this fourth quarter. Stockton down the middle. He got it. That's how he started the ball game. He did not score in that third quarter, his first point of the second half.
Now, one other thing that makes him so hard to guard is you know he's always looking to pass the basketball. You saw Chucky Brown come over, and instead of stepping in there and taking the charge, he knew Stockton's passing ability, had to back off, and he took it right to the hole.
Sam Cassell committed the foul, his second three-point play, and we are tied at 73, an 11-0 run now by the Utah Jazz. Ellie taking Keith inside, and Adam Keith that time got a piece of it. Olajuwon now coming into the ball game. Well, our playoffs continue as we continue game 1. Look at this action. Chicago and Charlotte, 7 o'clock on TBS. Boston, Orlando, and I know Goose is very interested in that ball game. Denver, San Antonio, Portland, and Phoenix. 4 games coming your way, all staggered throughout the night.
It's going to be fun. And now the Utah Jazz defense has picked up causing the Houston Rockets. So maybe the first time in this ball game to look out of things.
The turnover gives it back to Utah. We're tied at 73. You see the time remaining in the ball game. Stockton goes baseline, and Cassell's committed his third foul. Sam Cassell right now having a very difficult time trying to stay with John Stockton.
Well, he's trying to guess. He's trying to outthink John Stockton right now instead of keeping his body right in his middle. His body between Stockton and the basket, and he's getting out of position every time. Now, Olajuwon with 4 personal fouls. Let's see if they give it to Karl Malone.
There's a pick and roll. Malone tried to flop and get a call. He didn't get it, but Stockton got the shot anyway. 75-73, a 13-0 run now. Into Olajuwon. Olajuwon trying to end that run and does. You bring the guy back in who's done it every time for you, and he now has 35 points.
Well, someone has to make a shot from the outside for Houston. That makes it easier on Olajuwon.
Tied at 75. Out it comes to Stockton. 8 seconds on the shot clock.
And there's another wrong guess
on Cassell's part.
Yeah, Sam Cassell. He's guessing wrong every time, trying to cut Stockton off as he takes the ball to the basket.
As his fourth, you just wonder if that ankle he sprained in Galveston could be affecting his defensive ability here tonight.
Well, I think it has taken away a little bit of his quickness, but that's even more reason for him to make sure he plays good, solid position defense and not take the chances against John Stockton.
So Drexler comes in. That means that Vernon Maxwell now has the assignment on John Stockton.
Well, he will struggle out here. Will do anything he wants to with the basketball.
Carr to the mailman. The mailman with a 2. It's now a 15-0 run. I tell you, make it 15-2 as Olajuwon scored earlier. What an ending to the third quarter and the beginning of the fourth quarter for the Jazz. Maxwell with a 3. And that was Watson who was able to tip it over to Malone.
Yeah, until a shot goes from the outside for the Houston Rockets, you'll continue to see Utah back in 2 or 3 people around Olajuwon.
Vernon Maxwell 1 of 6. He's having one of those nights where he just can't throw it in the ocean. Other nights, he is so effective. There's the turnover. Drexler on the move. Malone is back, and he and Drexler collide on Malone with a blocking foul.
Well, I'm really surprised on the other end of the floor that Karl Malone is giving the ball up as quickly as he is in matchups against guys like Olajuwon out on the floor. And Charles Jones now. You see the body contact right here. He picked up foul number 4.
Here's tonight's touch boy in the paint, and Utah doing a good job on the board.
The Rockets, the last couple of years, one of the worst rebounding teams in the league. It's showing here again tonight as Utah has 35-24 advantage, but they haven't been able to find a solution at the Jazz for Olajuwon. He has 35 and 6.
Malone starting to come on a little bit, still not up to the numbers you would anticipate. 15-2 run by the Utah Jazz. And they lead it by 2. And Olajuwon, rebound Malone. He went right over the back of Charles Jones and ripped it out of there.
Still surprised Karl Malone's giving the ball up as quickly as he is in some of these matchups that he's had. Well, let's see if he hangs on to it here if he gets it.
Watson almost threw it away. Stockton able to retrieve. 7 seconds on the shot clock. A 3.
Oh, boy. He understands this big guy is not on tonight. So he's carrying him right now by himself.
18-2 run now by the Jazz. Drexler with a 3 now. That might get quite the glide going.
Well, he's passing up shots also. Not nearly as aggressive as we normally see him on offense.
And Drexler answers with his own tray. 8:17 left in the game. Watson dumps it into Malone. The cutter is Watson. Can't get in. 7 seconds on the shot clock. Antoine Carr, open shot. Charles Jones tips it to Maxwell. He can't handle it. Watson's got it. They got a break. 24 seconds.
Well, I'll tell you what about Watson. You know, when you come in the game in a situation he's in, the one thing you don't want to do is turn the ball over. I like the control he's shown in this game. Hasn't turned it over at all.
And Malone arguing with Mike Mathis. He is called for the foul. That's going to be his 4th, and so he having problems with Mike Mathis.
Yeah, a lot of people surprised that the Houston Rockets kept Charles Jones active. He played just 3 games during this season, but they kept him for defense, and he showed it on that play.
And Antoine Carr has picked up his 5th foul. Yeah, Charles Jones is 38 years old. The story on Charles Jones, he had been cut. He went home to Albany, Georgia to be with these brothers Caldwell and Major and Will. And all of a sudden they called Charles Jones and said, we want you back. He had to leave his dog with all of his brothers and fly back in and rejoin the Houston team.
After it took him a few days to track him down.
Olajuwon's only 3 of 7 for the free throw line. Jazz by 2, 80-78, 7:39 left in the game. Rattles out again. Jamie Watson with some big moments in this game.
Well, he's played big minutes here. They brought him in because of his size, his ability to play Drexler on defense.
Away for the ball, we've got a foul. It's going to be on Vernon Maxwell. They'll send Utah to the line. Maxwell has been really quiet tonight. 1 of 6 for 3 points.
You know, Vernon Maxwell, I think what he's suffering from right now is a little bit of, possibly a little bit of self-pity. He feels they don't want him any longer in Houston because of all the things he's been through. And I think right now that's weighing heavily on his mind. Throw that out, understanding that he has to play if they're going to win this here in this particular series.
Well, to back up what you're saying, he was out 10 games, suspended, and fined $20,000 for going into the stands for a heckler. And so ever since that time, he's had a lot of distractions. He, too, had anemia. So it's been a disruptive year for Vernon Maxwell.
And he's not back 100% yet, so that has a little bit to do with it. But he doesn't have that gleam in his eye, that aggressive face that he normally has when he's between the lines.
Mario Ellie back to Olajuwon. Olajuwon in his face is Adam Keefe. He got a piece of it. Ellie, though, with a putback. Boy, that was good defense by Keefe. He got a piece of it, but Ellie alertly with the follow.
Adam Keefe has some fouls to give right now. He can waste some, taking away the high percentage shot on Olajuwon.
Jazz's lead whittled to 1, and inside Malone is fouled. Charles Jones committing the foul. Let's go back to Ellie's very alert play.
You see Adam Keefe come over and get a little piece of that forced to miss. And there's the putback.
We're going to have a timeout with 6:50 left in this ball game. The Utah Jazz lead it by 1. Utah by 1 over the Rockets. It's time now for the Visa leaderboard. And you can see Utah 12 straight years have been in the playoffs.
12 straight years. And as long as Stockton and Malone can stay healthy, that number should continue to grow.
Interestingly enough, the foul situation. Houston's over the limit. They've been over the limit with almost 7 minutes left to play in the fourth quarter. Now with 6:50, Utah has committed 3. And Malone at the line. Malone with 21 points.
Another area where this Utah team is a league leader is from the free throw line on the season, 78%. But you see what they've done tonight, 13 of 21.
They were number 1 in field goal percentage and number 1 in free throw percentage. The best shooting team in the NBA. Malone is 6 of 9, and he didn't like that one the minute he left his hand.
I think he knew it was off.
Jazz by 2, 6:45 left in regulation. Maxwell into Hakeem. They triple team him. Hakeem doesn't let it bother him. Just gets it to go in.
Still makes the shot with 3 white shirts around him.
37 points. His high against the Jazz this year was 41. Tied at 82. He's been tied 6 times here tonight as Stockton kicks it outside. Malone with 5 seconds on the shot clock. Keefe trying to keep it alive. Look at him battle. It's going to be off of Maxwell, and Adam Keefe would not give up on the ball.
Can't say enough about the confidence that he has found a way to find since coming here from Atlanta.
So they have 24 seconds on the shot clock as it comes into Stockton.
Surprised Stockton hasn't been able to get to the basket against Vernon Maxwell. Let's see if this pick and roll frees him up to the paint.
Out to Tom Chambers, into Keefe. Keefe makes the catch and makes the shot.
Yep, well, I'll tell you, playing with a lot of confidence. And it's growing here because they continue to give him basketball.
11 points and 5 rebounds. That's tipped up and in by Chambers, who's trying to play defense on Hakeem Olajuwon.
Chambers got a hand on that one, knocked it in the basket.
84 all.
He's trying to front Hakeem Olajuwon now, hoping that there's some help from the weak side.
Basket now gives Olajuwon 39 points. 5.5 to go. Stockton shaking loose. And we're going to have a foul inside as Malone tried to go back up with the ball. Charles Jones defending inside. And that'll be his third foul. Jones was an 8th-round draft pick at 79 for the Phoenix Suns. He spent most of his career for the Washington Bullets. And as Goose said earlier, he played only 3 games in the regular season for the Rockets.
Well, the board work really hurting, and you see Rudy Tomjanovich there. He said he's very happy with the trade. That rebound total might not be as heavily favored in Utah's side of the court if Otis Thorpe was still a part of this Utah team.
Malone rattles it in. Malone with 23. Utah by 1, 5:25 to go.
The other interesting thing that Rudy T said in regards to that trade is he doesn't know if this Rocket team could make the playoff without Drexler because of his ability to score in light of all the injuries they've had.
Yeah, they were not scoring any points. Malone has 15 points this half, so he's come back strong.
And you knew he would.
And Chambers picks up the foul. And as you said, Tom never committed a foul, and
not yet.
They keep calling him once in a while.
One of these days, he's going to raise his hand and say, okay, I got him.
This is the 5th on Chambers. The inbound, 4th team foul now against Utah, so they still have, or they will be over the limit for the next foul. Here's the steal by Stockton to the trailer Chambers, and he's fouled. Going to go on Clyde Drexler, and that will send Tom Chambers to the line. Chambers has played with some emotion here tonight.
Yes, he has. Vernon Maxwell's leaving the game, and he looks very winded right now. As we mentioned, he's been ill the last 3 weeks or so. He's breathing heavily as he leaves the game.
He had that iron deficiency problem, anemia, as did Olajuwon. Chambers missing the free throw. I'll tell you, Utah, if they lose this ball game, they're going to look back at the free throw shooting here tonight.
Oh, sure they will. And the #1 shooting team in the league tonight.
They're 16 of 26 from the line. That's not the Utah you expect to see. 87-84, Utah, 5 minutes to go.
Still no shots from the outside for Houston.
Malone out there, and that's the kind of foul that you really never need at this stage of the game. That puts them over the limit. And Malone picking up his 4th foul, and that's one that Jerry Sloan over there just burying his head.
Well, you have to look at who has the ball. Pete Chilcott has it that far away from the basket. No chance he's going to put the shot up. Time for Karl Malone to just back off and try to give him as much time to handle it as possible. That means Olajuwon will not touch it.
So both teams now are over the limit. And Chilcott at the line. And Chilcott, who this year shot 74% from the line, hits that one. He can cut it to 1. Good-looking shot. Good rotation on the ball. And the Jazz by 1, 4:52 left.
Now, Robert Horry sat on the sideline a long time. We'll see if he can come back and be as effective as he has been this entire ball game.
Yeah, he's 4 of 8 from the field. 13 points. Stockton setting up Malone. Malone with the ball fake. Blocked that time by Drexler. Drexler rejected it. Chambers, a shot clock expiring. Keith has it taken away by Horry. Here's Drexler. Stockton goes for the steal. Stockton falls into the crowd. Chilcott scores, and he's fouled by Jamie Watson. Drexler is really good in the open floor. He can stop, start, be under control, and he needed to because Stockton was looking for a steal.
Well, we've talked about the fact he hasn't been real aggressive looking for his offense. There he is coming over with the block. Another thing he excels in. And then they come up with the loose ball, get it out on the break, and he makes the pass that leads to the 3-point play.
Pete Chilcott with a strong game now has 12 points and 8 rebounds. Now this year, He had a strong game of 25 points and another game with 19 rebounds, but he's never played better than this.
I'll tell you what, he's done a great job on defense also. He was matched up against Malone much of the first half when Malone struggled from the field.
Hornacek getting ready to come into the Utah lineup. Chambers, left-handed shot, got it. He can take it to the hole with either hand. He's always done that throughout his career.
Yeah, but he likes to go back to the left a lot, as he's done the last couple of times. He's caught the basketball. You've got to take that away from him.
Timeout, Houston. So when we come back, Hornacek will be in the lineup for Utah, and the Jazz and Rockets are deadlocked. Gary Bender, Jack Gibbons, Lisa Molesky from the Delta Center. We're even at 89. Both teams are over the foul limit, and here's the foul difficulty. Chambers and Carr with 5. Olajuwon picked up that 4th one early. Cassell, he just didn't have a very good night defensively.
No, he didn't. He was matched up against Stockton, made some bad choices, and got himself in foul trouble. Both Antoine Carr and Tom Chambers picking up most of their fouls against Hakeem Olajuwon.
See, both teams have 3 full timeouts remaining. Houston has the 20. And no fouls to give. 3:47 left in the game, 89 all. Horry stripped by Adam Keith. Adam Keith comes up with it.
Well, you talk about superstars, unsung heroes.
Chambers caught him napping. He got behind the defense. Got the basket inside.
You have to look at Chambers, but especially look at Adam Keith. He has played huge in this game.
91-89 into Olajuwon. Chambers commits the foul. Chambers reaching in, batting it away. And Chambers after that big play. And he is fouled out of the ball game. That's number 6. And he was really very effective here tonight. He had 10 points. And he had Utah's last 5 before fouling out.
Well, that's a big loss for the Utah Jazz. In other games, not such a factor when he gets in foul trouble and fouls out of the ball game. But they're going to him a lot here. He's played very aggressive basketball. And as you mentioned, he's made the last 5 points.
Olajuwon now has 40 points. Boy, looking back at the free throw thing, Utah's missed 10 free throws tonight. And they still lead it by 1. Or I should say, now tied up at 91. Stockton with Kenny Smith now picking him up. Goes right around Kenny Smith. 12 seconds on the shot clock. Antoine Carr gets the ball fake, and he gets the foul. Antoine Carr, 33 years of age, a #1 draft pick way back in 1983 with the Detroit Pistons.
Well, he has had to struggle for minutes here in this ball game tonight. Got an early foul trouble. They thought he was going to be a real key if they were going to win this series. It still might come down to that if he can get some minutes here and not pick up that foul number 6.
Jokic committed his 4th foul. Carr hits the first. Jazz by 1. Carr with 7 points tonight. Utah had only 5 free throws in the first half. They shot 23 in the second. Into Olajuwon.
How many white shirts get around Olajuwon that time? No one came on the double team. And every time that has happened in this game, he has made it look extremely easy.
And he has 43. That's a high against Utah. His high for the season is 47. Stockton tried to draw the foul. Carr from outside. You talk about him stepping up big. That's big.
Well, they haven't been able to use him at all this game. So he has to stay on the floor here the last 2.5 minutes.
95-93, the Jazz by 2 into Olajuwon, the triple team. Kenny Smith with a tray.
Yeah, now he's the one guy that you don't want to leave. He has made shots, and he has made them consistently from behind the three-point line. He has 3 of them here tonight.
That's 3 of them. Stockton with a 2, answers at the other end. 26 points for John Stockton. Jazz by 1, 97-96.
Now that shot at the basket should make it easier for Olajuwon now.
And Keith, the triple team again. Horry with 12 seconds on the shot clock. With 8, 7. Olajuwon will take it and get it.
Tough shot.
45 points for Hakeem the Dream.
I was just going to say, That's the shot you want him to have.
98-97, the Rockets in the lead. You see the time remaining in regulation. Using the high pick is Stockton. Again, he has the ball, using Malone. Back to Carl. Carl runs into Olajuwon, no foul. Hornacek launches one, and Chilkin with a rebound. Bodies everywhere, and Stockton came up with it. Keith ran into Chilkin and jarred the ball loose.
Yeah, I think you're right. Adam Keith gave the body contact, and Pete Chilcutt could not hold on to it.
So Utah with another chance, down by one. Stockton, the Hornacek.
He's not going to miss that. He's not going to miss that one.
Only his second field goal of the night, 2 of 10. But you're right, you knew that one was going in.
Yeah, 2 of 10, but how many shots has he had in this ballgame where he was that wide open? They have paid particular attention to him, and he struggled on offense so far.
Utah has gotten help from areas they did not expect to get help, and then guys like Hornacek, who figured to be there for 16 or 17 points, not able to help that much, but he really delivered with this shot we're going to show you again.
Yeah, he is one of those guys that, as I say, he's an offensive player. He always thinks that next shot is going to go. Look at the concentration, the follow through, everything you want from a jump shooter. He got it on that shot.
I want to go back to that turnover earlier. Now watch Adam Keith, what happens to him. Or Chilcutt. This is the one earlier. I'm sorry. We thought we were going to have the turnover by the other side, but instead Stockton comes up with it as Chilcutt had batted away. But the one I thought we were going to see was when Adam Keith was knocked loose from the ball. Remember, he was jarred, and eventually they came up with it. But this time it goes the other way, and with 59.2 seconds left, the Jazz by 1.
Now, as the Rockets come out of this timeout, where they have been most effective, of course, is getting the ball in the hands of Hakeem Olajuwon. Kenny Smith made an outside shot, so that means Stockton will not leave him probably to go into double team. If they do, look for Olajuwon to throw it out, and Kenny Smith gets the shot from behind the three-point line.
This quarter, we've been tied 6 times. We've had 5 lead changes.
Another guy that I like in this situation for the Houston Rockets is Clyde Drexler. Now, he's been quiet as Jeff Hornacek, but this is kind of time of the game when he excels. So don't be surprised if he gets it and if he makes something positive happen.
Well, the Rockets now have hit their last 7 field goal attempts and still find themselves down by 1. Game number 2 will be Saturday here in the Delta Center. Houston opening the defense of their NBA championship against the Utah team they defeated in 5 games in the Western Conference Finals last season. Horry will inbound. Both teams are over the limit. Houston with 2 full timeouts remaining. Utah with 3. Houston still has a 20. Olajuwon, the double team coming to Chilcutt. 13 seconds on the shot clock. 11. Drexler with 8. With 7. Drexler with a chop and get it. Malone to the rebound. And Malone then is fouled by Pete Chilcutt. They didn't really get a very good look at it.
They did not. And give the Utah defense a lot of credit here. They stepped up. They made it tough. They took the shot away from Olajuwon with aggressive double team, but they stayed at home on the scores of the guys that are capable of scoring from the outside. Jeff Hornacek, great job on defense. A little bit hard on that one by Clyde Drexler.
And Chilcutt committed his 5th foul, sending Malone to the line. Malone is 8 of 12 from the line tonight. 24 points, 14 rebounds. The Jazz reached the century mark. They're up by 2.
Funny how guys step up. The superstars step up in situations like this. Karl Malone has struggled from the free throw line. 9 of 13 right now. Hit all bottom on the first one. Missed the second.
And Drexler almost lost it to Antoine Carr. Olajuwon got it. Houston calls timeout. So Houston now with 1 full and a 20 left. Jazz by 2 when we come back. Well, 23.7 seconds left in regulation game 1 of this best-of-5 series. Gary Sloan's team up by 2. The Rockets with the basketball.
Now, if Olajuwon catches it on the inside this time, I don't think he will be as quick to give the ball up as he was the last time. Let's see if he tries to make something happen here.
Little jump hook, not there. Drexler has it. They bring it out. 22 seconds left. Kenny Smith. This is a 2. It's tied.
Oh, I didn't think that one had a chance to get over top of the rim.
It's a tornado again.
Oh, that was a flat shot.
10 seconds left.
Veteran teams, you don't have to call a timeout.
Stockton inside. Lisa got it. John Stockton. And the Jazz by 2.4 seconds left in the game.
Well, you know what Utah's going to do in any key situation. They're going to the pick and roll, the play that they run 75–80% of the time. Give it to Stockton and let him create.
Stockton with 28 points, 10 assists. And remember, he didn't do a thing in the third quarter. He didn't get an assist or a point, but he has arrived here late. And a huge basket.
Well, he set the pace for himself early in this ballgame, and he got the confidence from his teammates by the way he started this ballgame. You know you can't keep him down for an entire half of play. He's too good, and he handles the basketball too much.
Now, Houston has used their final timeout, their full timeout. They have a 20 remaining. Utah has all 3 of their full timeouts. They do not have a 20.
Well, what they would like to get here is a direct pass in from out of bounds inside to Olajuwon. They will try to get that. If they can't get it, they will get the ball to Kenny Smith, try to give him a couple quick dribbles, and then either the shot or the quick pass into Olajuwon for the little turnaround.
Let's see who they're going to bring in as they have Smith, Chilcott, Olajuwon. Looks like Maxwell's going to come in now.
Now, Vernon Maxwell might be a decoy. Although, if he gets the shot from behind the three-point line, he will put it up, although he has not been very effective in this game on offense. 1 of 6.
So Maxwell is in. Drexler, Smith, Olajuwon. Chilcott will be the inbound guy. What if they're going to delay a game here to see what they're doing? Malone backing off for the inbound guy. And it comes to Maxwell. Maxwell, it'll count if it goes. And the game is over. The Jazz win it. 102 to 100.
Well, they got the shot that they wanted. They got the pass directly in. Now watch Olajuwon. Boy, they didn't wait for that play to develop. Vernon Maxwell, though, caught it farther out than he wanted it and had to throw it up under pressure. Olajuwon gets the good screen. You hold it 1 more second from out of bounds, you might be able to throw the alley-oop. Instead, it goes in from the outside. And Vernon Maxwell tries, but it does not go.
And the Jazz go up 1-0 over the Rockets, 102 to 100. And our Budweiser player of the game, John Stockton, 28 points, 10 assists, and probably more important than all those numbers we're showing you right there, he hits the winning field goal as the Jazz win this one. And John, your thoughts as you were getting ready on that pick and roll and the winning basket?
I think I'd rather have Carl dunk it, but it went in and we were able to get the victory, so that's just big for us.
This was a game where there were kind of surges. You didn't get anything done in the third quarter. Carl got started slow, but you guys hung in there, got help from other areas.
Well, that's kind of the key for us. We people kind of give us the reputation of it just being Carl and me or Horny. But there's a lot of guys that contribute on this team, a lot of guys that don't get mentioned a lot, and that's what it takes to win, especially in the playoffs.
Well, 2 guys in particular that stepped up and played big. Tom Chambers came in and played for you, but a guy who is one of those guys that you talk about don't get much credit, Adam Keith. He made some huge plays in this game.
Adam really did. Earlier in the game when we made a huge run, I think he had 4 or 5 dunks just by hustling. Here down the stretch, he had a big steal and ignited another break that Tom finished off. I think gave us the lead or gave us 3. I'm not sure, but that's I can't say enough about him, and I can't say enough about the other guys like that who are just working their tail off.
Okay, John, we're going to go back to the replay, the winning basket. Let's let you describe it for us, what you were thinking, and what actually happened here.
Well, pick and roll, and they went underneath. They've been doing that a lot. I don't know. I just kind of drove it, and hope to get fouled, hope to get the shot up on the glass, and it fell in, so still lucky.
Well, congratulations. Maybe this is the year for the Utah Jazz.
Well, the long road ahead. That's just one game, and we're playing the world champs, so we're not taking anything for granted.
All right, congratulations. Let's go to Atlanta now. And Ernie Johnson, the Jazz, one game to none lead, 102 to 100.